Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Sophia, and I'm truly so happy you decided to join me again on this journey. It means a lot to me that we can explore these experiences together, one step at a time. Today, we're going to talk about something that millions of migrants face, yet it's often overlooked, quietly experienced, and rarely discussed openly: learning a new language in a new country. Learning a language is so much more than just memorizing words or grammar rules. It is about finding your voice in a place that sometimes feels unfamiliar. It is about expressing yourself in ways that feel true and authentic. It is about connecting with others, building relationships, and feeling like you actually belong. It's about courage. It's about patience, and it's about slowly discovering who you are in this new place, who you are becoming, and how your identity grows alongside the words you learn. Whether you've just arrived in a new country or you've been living somewhere unfamiliar for months or even years, this episode is for you. It doesn't matter where you are on your journey. This conversation is here to guide you, support you, and remind you that you are not alone. No matter your level in the new language, no matter how confident or hesitant you feel, there is something in today's episode that can speak to your experience, your struggles, and your growth. When you arrive in a new country, the language barrier often hits first. Suddenly, everyday life feels different. You may feel lost in supermarkets, unsure what the labels mean. You may hesitate on buses, not knowing how to ask for your stop, or even asking for directions feels like a challenge. You quickly realize every conversation, every sign, every instruction is a hurdle. Something you used to take for granted now requires effort, patience, and courage. Some days you feel frustrated. You want to speak, but the words just don't come. You hesitate. You stumble over pronunciation. You make mistakes that feel embarrassing. You wonder if people understand you at all. But here's the truth. This struggle is an essential part of your journey. Every mistake is a step forward. Every effort, every attempt is building a bridge to your new life. Each conversation, no matter how small, is a victory. And slowly, you begin to feel more capable, more confident, and more connected to the world around you. Learning a language takes patience. It doesn't happen instantly. It doesn't happen overnight, no matter how motivated you are or how much you practice. You need motivation to keep going. And this motivation often comes from small victories, moments that may seem minor at first, but are actually huge steps forward. For example, ordering your favorite coffee at a cafe and getting it right, asking a stranger for directions and actually understanding the reply, or watching a TV show or listening to a podcast without subtitles and catching most of what's being said. Each of these tiny successes gives you a little boost of confidence. It's proof that you are learning, that you are progressing, that your effort matters. And slowly, almost without noticing, you begin to see real progress. You realize that sentences are forming more easily. You notice that people understand you more clearly, and your own understanding of the world around you deepens. Remember, fluency is not the goal overnight. Connection is the goal. Understanding is the goal. Being understood is the goal. Each conversation, no matter how small, is a step toward belonging and confidence. The fastest way to learn a language is through immersion. The more you surround yourself with it, the quicker it becomes part of your life. Talk to people every day, even if it's just a simple hello or thank you. Watch local shows and pay attention to the words and expressions. Listen to podcasts in the language you're learning. Read signs, menus, advertisements, anything you see around you. Mistakes are completely normal. Every conversation is practice. Every interaction is an opportunity to learn something new. Even if it feels uncomfortable or awkward, it's still progress. Sometimes it feels scary. Sometimes it feels impossible. You may feel frustrated when the words don't come out as you want. But slowly, almost without realizing it, words start to come naturally. Sentences begin to form on their own. And with each successful interaction, confidence grows. You start to feel like this language is no longer just foreign, it's becoming part of your life, your voice, and your story. Many famous people learned new languages as adults, proving that it's never too late to start. For example, Arnold Schwarzenegger arrived in the US at the age of 21. He had to learn English while simultaneously building an entirely new career in a foreign country. Shakira, the global music star, learned English as a second language to connect with audiences around the world and expand her opportunities. Albert Einstein moved between countries and adapted to new languages so he could continue his groundbreaking work in science. Their experiences remind us of something important. Learning a language is hard, but it is absolutely possible. It's a skill that opens doors to new friendships, opportunities, and understanding. It's also a skill that builds resilience, independence, and confidence. And most importantly, it shows that growth often happens when we step out of our comfort zones and keep trying, even when it's difficult. Learning a new language changes you in ways you may not notice at first. It shifts the way you see the world, yourself, and even your own culture. You begin to notice aspects of your old culture from a fresh perspective. Things you once took for granted suddenly feel new, familiar, yet different. You discover new ways to express yourself, words and phrases that capture thoughts and feelings you couldn't fully convey before. You begin to understand other people's humor, their emotions, and the subtleties of their communication in ways that weren't possible before. Language gives you freedom, the freedom to navigate a new world and make it feel like home. It gives you confidence to speak, to ask, to interact. It gives you the power to belong, to be part of conversations, communities, and experiences that once felt out of reach. And over time, you realize something important. The effort was absolutely worth it. Every struggle, every hesitation, every mistake, all of it shaped the person you are becoming. Each step, no matter how small, has contributed to your growth, your resilience, and your ability to thrive in a new place. You know, one of the most important things I've learned is that learning a new language is also about patience with yourself. Some days you feel like you're moving forward. Other days it feels like you haven't learned anything at all. And that's okay, because progress is rarely a straight line. It comes in bursts, in tiny moments, in conversations you barely notice. Sometimes the best learning happens when you feel uncomfortable, when you stumble over words, when you don't understand jokes, when you have to ask someone to repeat themselves 3 times. All of those moments, they're proof that you are trying, that you are growing, and that you are moving closer to fluency. It's not just about the language, it's about confidence, resilience, and discovering who you are in a new place. Here's something I rarely hear people talk about: how learning a new language changes the way you notice the world around you. Suddenly, you start listening differently. Street signs, conversations in cafes, even the way people greet each other, they all carry new meaning. You begin to notice patterns in speech, gestures, humor, and tone that you never paid attention to before. Small things like the rhythm of a sentence or the way someone laughs at a joke suddenly feel important. And you start experimenting with your own voice. You try new words in unusual ways, invent expressions, even mix your old language with the new one. Sometimes it sounds strange, sometimes people laugh, but that's part of the fun. Language also teaches you to observe yourself. You notice your reactions when someone doesn't understand you. You notice your patience or impatience. You notice the moments when you feel proud of yourself for getting a word right, or when you feel frustrated for struggling. Learning a language becomes less about perfection and more about living in a world that feels both familiar and completely new at the same time. It changes how you see people, how you see yourself, and how you see home. One of the most fascinating things about learning a new language is how it changes how you think and feel. When you start speaking another language, it's not just your vocabulary that grows, your mind begins to shift. You notice that certain thoughts or emotions can only come out in the new language. Some feelings feel sharper, lighter, or even different when you say them in another tongue. You begin to see yourself from multiple perspectives. Your old habits of thinking might clash with the structure of the new language. You notice new ways to describe the world, to express emotions, or even to make decisions. It also affects your identity. Sometimes you feel closer to your old self when you speak your first language. Sometimes the new language gives you freedom to try being someone slightly different, someone braver, more playful, or more confident. And over time, you realize the language doesn't just help you communicate. It shapes how you experience life, how you connect with people, and even how you understand yourself. Learning a new language becomes not just a skill, it becomes a lens through which you see the world differently. Have you noticed how a new language changes the way you connect with people? Suddenly, every interaction feels like a small adventure. Ordering groceries, asking for directions, talking to a neighbor. You start seeing these moments as opportunities to practice, to learn, and to belong. At first, it can feel awkward. You might struggle to find the right words or misunderstand someone's meaning, but each conversation teaches you something new. Not just words, but how people think, how they joke, and how they express kindness or frustration. And when you finally manage to explain yourself clearly or understand someone fully for the first time, there's a tiny spark of triumph. It's in those little moments that the language truly becomes a bridge, connecting you to the people and the world around you. Here's something funny about learning a new language. Humor doesn't always translate. Jokes, puns, or playful expressions that make people laugh effortlessly in one language can feel completely mysterious in another. At first, you might not understand why everyone is laughing, or worse, you laugh at the wrong moment and feel embarrassed. But these moments are also delightful. They show you how rich and unique the new language is. They challenge you to think differently, to play with words, and to find your own way of being funny or expressive. And when you finally get a joke, really understand it, or even make someone else laugh in the new language, you feel a little magic. It's a sign that you're not just learning words, you're starting to think and feel in this new language. Let's talk about something fascinating. Being multilingual, speaking more than one language. For many migrants, this isn't just a skill, it becomes part of your identity. You might think in one language at home, speak another at work, and catch phrases from yet another while out with friends. Being multilingual changes the way you think. Sometimes certain ideas or feelings only make sense in one language. Sometimes switching languages helps you see a situation differently or express something you couldn't in your first language. It also creates a unique flexibility in your mind. You become more aware of words, meanings, and subtle nuances. You notice cultural differences and expression and humor more easily. And there's a surprising joy in this too. The ability to move between languages feels like having multiple keys to the same world, each one opening slightly different doors. Being multilingual doesn't just help you communicate, it shapes the way you experience life, relationships, and even your own self. Now, let's explore how learning a new language actually shapes your future after migration. The language you are learning today isn't just a tool to survive, it's a tool to thrive. It affects your career opportunities, your ability to study, and even the kind of life you can build in your new home. When you speak the language fluently, suddenly doors open. You can apply for jobs that once felt out of reach. You can pursue higher education or professional courses. You can collaborate, network, and connect with people in ways that were impossible before. It also shapes your confidence. Knowing that you can express yourself clearly, negotiate, and communicate in a professional or social setting gives you a sense of control over your own future. And there's another layer. Your mindset changes. Learning a language teaches adaptability, problem solving, and resilience, skills that are invaluable in any career or personal endeavor. So, the effort you put into learning a language today isn't just about the present moment, it's an investment in your future self, a future where you have choices, opportunities, and the confidence to shape your own path. Okay, today we explored the incredible journey of learning a new language after migration. We talked about the challenges, the confusion in daily life, the mistakes, the hesitation, and the moments when words just don't come. We acknowledged that every struggle is a step forward, and that small victories, ordering a coffee, understanding a show, or having a short conversation, build confidence and motivation. We explored the joy of immersion, talking to people, reading signs, listening to podcasts, and engaging with the world around you. We also looked at the power of humor and connection, how jokes, playful language, and cultural nuances shape your understanding of people in the world. We drew inspiration from famous multilingual figures, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Shakira, Einstein, reminding us that it's never too late to learn and that persistence and curiosity open doors. We reflected on the deeper impact of language, how it changes your mind, your identity, and your perspective. Being multilingual gives you flexibility, awareness, and a sense of belonging. Language doesn't just let you communicate, it shapes how you experience life. And finally, we talked about the future, how learning a language empowers you to study, pursue careers, connect with opportunities, and build the life you want. It strengthens not only your skills, but also your resilience, independence, and confidence. So remember, every word, every conversation, every small step matters. Learning a new language is not just about speaking, it's about growing, connecting, and shaping your future. It's about becoming a stronger, braver, more capable version of yourself in a new world. And that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the ups and downs of learning a new language after migration. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a story, a tip, or a little inspiration for your own journey. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform and share this episode with anyone who might find it helpful. I'm Sophia, and this is Life in Words, podcast with Sophia. We explore real-life experiences, challenges, and growth stories, helping you feel inspired, connected, and ready to take your next step no matter where you are in the world. Thank you again for listening. Keep learning, keep exploring, and remember, every word you speak brings you closer to the person you're becoming. See you in the next episode.